Well, it was the point that I was making when I talked about the downward multiplier impact which these proposals will have on not just the UK economy, but more particularly, I suppose, on the Northern Ireland economy, where especially, I'm always reluctant to plead special cases. But I think that one has to look at where Northern Ireland is on the economic cycle at present. We do lag behind on the economic cycle. We're still in the downward part of the economic cycle, and all of the indices, whether it's output, whether it's employment, whether it's the forward orders, investment, or whatever, all of the indices show that we are still on the downward slide as far as the economic cycle is concerned. And the concern which we will have will be that the attempts we're having to restructure the economy and the impact of this could have the impact of the effect of, whilst growth might occur in the rest of the United Kingdom, we may find ourselves still stuck in a recession because of the particular circumstances which there are. I will, yes.
Thank you, colleague for giving way. In terms of the issue of fairness and special cases, the Red Book does outline a special case for Scotland nonetheless, where it's going to have a pilot scheme, a possible pilot scheme in Scotland for rural fuel duty. Given that we are the only region of the United Kingdom that has a land border with another EU state whose fuel duty is progressively lower than our fuel duty, would it not be wise to see that possible pilot scheme actually extended to a region that will benefit most from the findings of such a scheme?
Well, I would like to see it initiated in Northern Ireland, initiated quickly. And I suppose, it's one of the proposals which I suspect the Liberal Democrats were very keen on pushing forward. It is something, given the rural nature of much of Northern Ireland, which I think we would welcome, and given the particular circumstances that we face in Northern Ireland, we would welcome, and we'll be interested to see the outcome of the pilot scheme and how quickly, if it, at all, it is rolled out across the rest of the United Kingdom. Well, let me come to the issue of fairness for individuals. And, I think that there are things to be welcomed here. And I suppose at the end of the day, it is all going to be about balance. I think that pensioners, and I'm pleased to see that there has been an honouring of the pledge of restoring the earnings linked to pensions. And I think that for many pensioners who find themselves in difficulty at present, that will be an important gain. I think that also, if we look at the way in which the banking levy has been now proposed, as well as the capital gains tax and the top rate of tax, and the fact that the pay freeze will not apply to those at the lower end of the public sector pay scale, there has been a genuine attempt to recognise that those who are already on low incomes should not be pushed down further. On the other hand, there will be concern about the increase in VAT and the regressive nature of that, the freezing of child benefit and tax credits. And I'd like maybe the Chancellor to give us an answer on this particular issue, especially backdating benefits, the tax credits 1 month instead of 3 months. Right. I hope that there is an improvement in the performance of HMRC when it comes to dealing with them. Otherwise, many people, through no fault of their own, are going to find that this is an unfair measure, because they will be powerless against a bureaucracy which seems to be unable to move on this particular issue. I will, yes, certainly.
Is it not also the case, of course, that it's families whose circumstances are most prone to change who will be particularly hard hit by a mere 1 month backdating period? And that's families, of course, where jobs are particularly stop-go and at risk. So that the risk for families who already face very, very dangerous and unstable economic circumstances will be heightened by this ungenerous measure.
And not only families whose circumstances are due to change, but very often they're the families who find it most difficult to deal with the bureaucratic maze which they face when having to make applications. And so I would like to hear from the Chancellor what proposals are in place to ensure a more efficient processing of claims when they do come through. That brings me to, I suppose, to the last point, and the last thing that I am looking for in this budget is some certainty. And I think, again, here I'm thinking more in terms of the impact which this has in Northern Ireland. We have been told that there will be a 25% cut in the departmental expenditure limits over the next 4 years. But we have been told that, of course, that will not apply evenly. Some departments will be hit more, some areas of government spending will be hit more, etc. In Northern Ireland, we are going through, at present, we have started the budget process. Because of the neglect of the previous government, there was no CSR announcement for the previous year. We're planning in a kind of a vacuum at present. And the one thing that I would say is that it is important that there be information made available to regional assemblies quickly as to what the impact is likely to be on their departmental expenditure limits, so that effective planning can take place. I think that there's nothing worse than asking departments to deal with difficult economic circumstances and then giving them a list of parameters and assumptions which are so vague that it's almost impossible for them to make any long-term decisions. And if we're going to, and I mean, the point, I suppose, which needs to be made now, if there's going to be less money available, then it has got to be used more effectively. If it's got to be used more effectively, then there must be an ability to plan. There must be an ability to look forward and to see how that money can be best put to use, how departments might work together to get more from more services from the existing money which is available. That can only be done if there is certainty, and I would appeal that the information which regional assemblies require would be given to them quickly.
Order.